AOC. Let's talk AOC.
All right, there we go.
All right. Her chief of staff and her communications director are going to have to leave her office. So this guy has a hard name, Saikat Chakrabarti. Her chief of staff has been under a barrage of scrutiny over the past several months. I think a lot of it unwarranted, but also Corbin Trent, her director of communications, will be leaving, stepping down from his role. So Chakrabarti will go back and work to further develop plans for the Green New Deal and work with Justice Democrats. Obviously AOC came to major prominence by primarying Crowley. And the main complaint from the DNC, from insiders, from people that are particularly close to Pelosi is that they're basically not falling in line. Like, they're being too forceful with pushing their agenda, pushing for the Green New Deal. They were out of step with the vote to give Trump funding for his border cages and things like that. How dare the squad step out of line and vote against that? They're trying to place the blame mostly on Chakrabarti. Twitter fights back and forth have been going on, but primarily their big thing is they really, really don't like it if you're gonna primary incumbent Democrats who behave like Republicans. We have a D in front of our name, damn it, and you should just like it. Just vote for them. Don't primary them. We're gonna have to primary you, AOC and Rashida Tlaib. Don't worry about it. You guys gotta go. But don't you dare primary those incumbent Democrats.
That's Lipinski.
That's what the big problem is. So I think the campaign rightly realized that while he is a good fighter and organized really well, because he was the person that was being basically focused down, right, by the insiders, AOC, for the sake of her agenda and for her legislative prospects, needed to sever ties with Chakrabarti, as effective of a campaigner as he is. And to be honest, he's a new father. This will give him a little more time to do some parenting. That's something he wanted to do.
That's good.
And he really wanted to focus on the Green New Deal and less about electoral bickering and intra-party politics. So this allows him a little bit of time to focus on what he was really passionate about. So it ends up being a kind of a win, despite the fact that we have to see someone who was a very effective fighter for the squad have to take his leave.
I think that there's another right landing to this. So if I'm not mistaken, he was in charge of brand new Congress and Justice Democrats. Mm-hmm. So if they were worried about pissing someone off that would run against an incumbent, well, the guy who was busy running AOC's campaign, who has been forced to leave by many different establishment Democrats, now has time with his kid, but I'm also sure a bit more time to, how shall we say, run against incumbents.
I gotta interrupt you for a second, Daniel. I apologize for this, but shout out to Density McCartney. Thank you for the $20 donation. You said this: keep up the good work, support independent media. I agree completely.
Thank you so much for your donation.
Your support really helps us get closer to our goal, but we'll go into more details at it later. Daniel, you got to continue points?
No, that was basically it. That I think that it's like he's gone. They're going to be cheering themselves until he starts pushing more people and helping people, because he's now a person who has successfully run a campaign against a very powerful incumbent. And I think that as much as they think that he was trouble running a incumbent's campaign, boy, are they going to have to worry if he gets 5 or 10 more people's campaigns together to run against more incumbents.
So this is why I have hope for this 2020 election cycle, because more Americans are wanting to get involved, and that's including Democratic voters, Republican voters, independent voters, Democratic Socialist voters, Green Party voters, Libertarian voters. I mean, this is a chance for people to get involved and actually get our presence heard, because there's a crack in the neoliberal system. Daniel said it, Paul said it, I have said it. The corporate system that we have right now that benefits Democratic and Republican establishment leaders, it's a paper wall. and they're nothing more than a paper tiger. And all it requires is a good portion of the American population, just 10% of it, to step up and influence change. We can defeat these people. Citizens United can be reversed. The McCutcheon decision can be reversed. We can actually have true representational democracy at the federal level and at the state level. We can actually have elected leaders actually do their job and represent us, the American people. We can actually address climate change, student debt. We can address the very fact that we have a crumbling infrastructure. We can address the fact that we need to improve our foreign relations with our allies all across the international community. There is a chance, and all what the corporate media had to do, all what the DNC establishment had to do was just realize that, hey, people want change. But no, the establishment, being as arrogant as it is going to try and put their weight on people. But he's free now, and remember, he knows a lot of people, a lot of progressives and activists. All has to happen is now everyone snap their fingers and get up and get involved. We all can get involved. And hold on, Paul, real quick.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things about sort of the drama surrounding Trent and Chakrabarti leaving the campaign, not the campaign, but the AOC's office. In this article, it points out in an interview that the New York Times did with Pelosi late in June, calling them, quote, "four people with a, quote, public whatever and their Twitter world who don't have a, quote, any following." In a closed-door meeting a few days after the Times interview, Pelosi told colleagues, "Do not tweet about other members," a warning viewed as being directed at the squad and AOC's staff. AOC told the Washington Post she thought Pelosi's comments were, quote, outright disrespectful and singled out four women of color in a way that is unfair.
Which of course means she called Pelosi racist, because that's the entire story for the next 2 weeks.
Right, and that makes it focus on race, which is a tactic. But I just think the quote earlier, four people with a public whatever, like she's just trying to malign basically the four most active members in Congress, most active in terms of enacting the goals of a very progressive, extremely popular movement, right? The Democratic base of the Democratic Party wants those things. Back to the FDR roots of the Democratic Party. And the big thing she can say is, no, but they're just for people who have some Twitter following or something. Like, no, they're maybe the four most popular members of Congress right now.
Yeah.
A little bit of jealousy.
Yeah, but also another thing too. At least, on a side note, just a little thing. At least he's spending time now with his kid. Being a parent. And so that's good for him.
Chakrabarti.
Yeah.
We salute you, sir. You did great work.